When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ludlow, and enjoy today's episode. So many people say, I applied for 20 positions, I'm not hearing anything back. But you, on the other hand, built a strong network.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Very strong network.
And you just became a master networker. And with that trusted network, they're bringing you in from a new job to a new job to a new job. People that just like you and trust you. That's pretty wild. That's very, very rare, folks. Do you see this?
So, I mean, it's a good thing to think about, right? You know, how do other people experience me? I was asked the other day. So, I mean, essentially, I've set my brand up around three things: leadership, kindness, risk management. That's all I ever talk about. And somebody asked me, they said, Tim, do you think that we are responsible for how people experience us? And the context of the conversation was, they're just people that suck out there. People that don't want to get along, people that don't want to get on board with the project or the team or your decision. And they kind of just exist to create problems. And we all know those people. And I thought about for about like 5 seconds. I was like, yes, we are absolutely responsible for how people experience us. But we're not responsible for what they think about us or say about us afterwards.
True.
So the goal there is I need to be intentional with every interaction I have with people. I need to go into every meeting, every engagement with a clear purpose and success criteria. I need to then take that purpose and criteria and try to mash it up against what that other person is trying to achieve as well, because it's not all about Tim. And if you can do that, create that alignment, you can do a lot of really, really good work, and people will have a good experience with you, even though they may not like you. And so that's why I say we are responsible for how people experience us. We're just not responsible after that for what they think of us or say about us. And to be honest, like, we shouldn't really give it a whole lot of thought after that, because if we're doing the best we can, we're representing ourselves and our brands the way we want to represent us, in a way that we believe is scalable and uplifts those around us, enables the industry, then we should be happy with that. And we're going to miss. I mean, We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. But if you're intentional and thoughtful about it, you're going to make that target more often than not.
I like how you said we're only responsible how they experience us. That's all you can do. That's something you can control. After that, like you said, you can't control what you can't control. Don't worry about it. And, you know, I've learned in my career path to worry about Mark Ludlow. You know, I don't worry about my haters. You know, I'm just, when you do something in this industry, folks, you're gonna have adversity. When you do something at a fast pace, when you're driving that car down that hill, you're gonna feel that wind coming at you. It's just the resistance. The faster you go building something, the more resistance you're going to face. That's just the laws of physics. Is how it is. And look at Michael Jordan. Look at Tom Brady. Look at all those haters they've had in their career. Look what they did.
You know, a very wise person once said that haters are going to hate. Shake it off.
Check it off. And my dad once told me, hey, you need more thick skin. If you're going to make it in the Marine Corps boot camp, you need an iron backbone.
Yeah.
Like, didn't think about that way. But yeah, you like Tim, look where he's been. I mean, I'm sure he has haters and lovers and friends and all kinds of things. But you don't spend your time thinking about that. You're just thinking about what your DNA is made to do.
Yeah. And you know what? One thing I've learned is to not spend time holding grudges either.
Ooh, that's good.
In life, people are going to think what they're going to think, and they're going to approve of what they're going to approve of, and they're going to like what they're going to like, and they're going to hate what they're going to hate. And you can't control that. But here's the thing. It's a small enough industry, especially when you get in the corporate side, or any specific niche of the industry, you're going to come across the same people over and over and over again. And you're going to have an experience with somebody that wasn't awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then unexpectedly, you're going to see them on a meeting invite. And you're going to be like, oh, you're going to see them walk into the room at a conference, at the company that you're working for, wherever. And you're going to have that internal recoil. And you go, oh, this guy, this whatever. But you have a decision to make, right? And you need to remember that you're not perfect either. Are you going to let that awkwardness exist and be there? Or are you just going to smile, shake their hand, be like, hey, it's been a long time. I'm really good. It's really good to see you.
Wow.
Can't wait to work together.
Oh, well said. So true. That's life.
Yeah.
When you deal with the alpha personality industry, what do? Territorial, hold grudges.
Yeah, but you know what? Everybody has bad days. And some people have bad years or 3 years or 5 years to where they were going through the stuff that we were talking about earlier and they just sucked to be around, and maybe they're not there anymore.
Mentally, they had a breakthrough. They got through it.
Yeah,
true.
Exactly. So why not give them that opportunity? Extend a little grace.
Wow. So true. And I know a lot of people are just trying to figure out what they're going to do next. You know, the industry's slowed down quite a bit lately. It's You're lucky if you're working somewhere right now in this industry. A lot of things are just getting cut and axed.
That is true. But at the end of the day, security risk doesn't go away. And if it's neglected, it's going to get worse. So
good point.
There are always places to work. There are always roles to be had. Sometimes you got to be less picky. Sometimes you just have to wait. Sometimes there are things available that you don't think you want to do, but then after you get there, you're like, whoa, this is really interesting. Completely different than what I thought. And even if it's not, if you have to go a different direction, you are building another expertise onto your skill set.
Good advice.
Do it. And then once you can snap back.
Wow. That's so true. So powerful. You got to push through those barriers and resistance. Yep. Now that you're a Kroll managing director, what is your forecast in the sector? What do you see? I mean, you're sitting in meetings now. You're hearing from all the different business industries what's going on right now. What would you advise the industry of what to prepare for the next? We have a presidential election cycle. We just got out of COVID. What are you hearing and seeing out there that you can share with the audience?
Well, I mean, I guess the easy answer is to prepare for more uncertainty.
Okay, fair enough.
So think about this, right? There's a lot of people that are like, Facebook's such a huge company. Like, why are they laying people off? I don't understand it. I saw a news article the other day that said over the next 18 months, something like $2 or $3 trillion worth of corporate real estate debt is up for term and renegotiation.
I saw that. That's crazy.
Where were interest rates 5 years ago when they were signed versus now?
2 to 3%.
Right. So, I mean,
whoa,
when they have to renegotiate that debt, it's going up. There's a lot of uncertainty coming. And so how do we manage that? Right. Well, we can do the things that we can control, right? We can network well. We can think about another thing that plagues the industry as far as leadership, is just thinking about who should I become? Like as a person, what should I be known for? And it's about that, creating that personal brand. I'm not saying you have to be on podcasts. I'm not saying you have to be on stage, but you interview better. You network better when you know who you are and what you're about and what you're not about. Because especially early in your career or even later in your career, but when you're in a tough spot, there's that tendency to want to become that chameleon that you had to be early to to kind of fit in wherever you could make a little money, wherever you could get a bullet on your resume, right? But if you're putting yourselves in situations that you're not going to be successful in, that you're going to be stressed in because you're not the person that you want to be, I mean, you're not going to be very productive, and you're not going to have people experiencing you as well as you want them to be. So think about, like, who am I and who should I become? Who do I want to become? Because nobody's static. We're all actively becoming. Change is inevitable. It's all around us, always happening. Actually, I just dropped that article in this week.
Go check it out, folks.
I sound like such a douche, don't I?
Soft plug. Nice. You have the art. You're just publishing. What was that journal that published you about the Kroll?
Security Journal Americas.
That's pretty cool. Not many people say that they've been in that journal. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Life's been good to me. The industry's been good to me. I can't complain, but it's something, it's an endeavor of intention, right? And I think that's what people need to become more intentional with. Like, you could argue that I didn't design my career. I was just asked to go to different places, which is true. I could never have designed the career path I've had. But what I did design is how would people experience me? And that made all the difference. That's
so cool, though. Profound, but it's solely organic, how they experienced you. I'm sure the audience is probably thinking this. Okay, he's a managing director of Kroll Consulting Corporation. What industries should I be looking to get into during this whole shift in the EP industry? Where should I go? Or maybe I'm running a business. What sector is going to be the one that's going to thrive during all this craziness?
I mean, if you look at the Fortune companies, very rarely are they falling flat, right? So they're going to survive because they have good resiliency models, good profit models, good product models, right? Mm-hmm. But they're not going to want to expand out into something that is not a competency for them right now. Because it's uncertain, tight times, right? And I would say the same for you. Like, what is your competency? What are you super good at? Find that niche across different industries and diversify your industry portfolio. So hey, if you're heavy in servicing tech companies, if you're heavy in finance companies, great. Why don't you find some parallel industries that aren't affected by the exact same market dynamics and network your way in there? There's a fine line between meeting somebody and having a really interesting conversation with them and having a contract dropped in your lap. And you know this.
Oh yeah. It takes time and trust.
And so anytime there's disruption, anytime there's uncertainty, people need to make moves. So position yourself by having really good conversations with a diverse, I don't know how to say it. A lot of different people across different industries.
Different portfolio.
There you go. Expand your portfolio of options. Yeah. And you know what? Why don't you try to get on stage and put a thought out there? A lot of people in the industry, they're very hesitant to put out a thought that's not necessarily mainstream or popular.
Yep. True.
And there's good reason, right? Because I was just having this conversation with someone earlier today who has a lot of really great thoughts and he wants to put them out there, but he's like, hey, he goes, first of all, I don't want to be the center of attention. Second of all, what if I take an idea or a thought that's really personal to me and I put it out there and people just destroy me for it?
It happened.
It may. But, I asked a similar question back in 2014, 2015, when Christian West was like, dude, why aren't you speaking at conferences? And I was like, I don't know. What if I say a thing and people are like, that's not even right. That's wrong. What if I get asked a question in the Q&A and I have no idea? And he said, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Wow.
How often do you see that happen? And I'll say it's never happened. My worst fear has never happened. But the more you do it and the more you grow, you're prepared for if someone does try to throw you a curveball, tries to throw you off your game, if somebody challenges what you're talking about, then you can answer that, right? But it's a big exercise in personal and professional growth to get up there and put your ideas out there for the industry.
Yeah, when you're explaining that journey of that, putting yourself out there, that's exactly what I went through launching my podcast. I'm like, I was freaking out my first 20 episodes. Like,
especially calling it the fearless mindset. Like,
oh my God, have I lost my mind? I'll never work again in this industry again. I'm going to be 86 before I can start my 5th episode. All the haters are going to come out. I was freaking out. But awesome. I kept on telling myself, okay, let's say you do this. What if? What the big question in my head, my first 20 episodes, what if this could happen? What if this could happen? And I had no idea that the opportunities that would present themselves. I'm like, what the heck is this? This is wild. But the beauty of this is storytelling and impacting the listeners that are hearing these powerful stories, like your story yourself. And you'll get, this podcast will probably blow up LinkedIn, and your inbox should be, oh my God, that was such a powerful thing. But it's the impact we're making on the industry by having this conversation.
And that's the thing too, right? So there's a lot of people that are like, why do you do all these things? Like, you just want to be popular? Do you want to hear yourself talk? And actually, like,
not really.
If you're listening to this right now, the chances you're thinking like, this guy's voice is pretty annoying. I don't actually like to even listen to my own stuff because it's super annoying. But the interesting thing is, most of us who are doing the quote unquote like thought leadership influencer thing, we're doing it because the ideas or the concepts that we really feel strongly about, nobody's talking about, and they have the opportunity to help people engage better with life and profession. And so by putting them out there, Mark, you had all that imposter syndrome when you started the podcast. What if it would have kept you from starting the podcast? How many people have reached out to you and said, you said the thing, you interviewed the person, and a switch clicked, and like it made all the difference for me. I've had so many people reach out to me, be like, hey, Tim, to be honest, like, I've been kind of thinking about suicide lately, but you said this thing, and I feel like I can get on a better track.
Absolutely.
Worth it. Absolutely 100%. Worth it.
Every day.
But you know what? It comes at a cost, right? There's an anxiety there. There's an imposter syndrome there, and you're going to develop haters. But it's okay. Because if you have ideas that are worth listening to that can actually help someone change their life and career, absolutely worth it.
So true. Yeah. One thing I had to tell myself, my self-talk, haters don't write me checks. So why worry about it?
That's a good one. I'm going to have to steal that one.
Haters don't write you checks. So what do you care what they think? They're not thinking about you anyway. Guess what?
Exactly.
Move on. Do something amazing. That's your identity. Like, what's her name? Janiki? I can't pronounce her name correctly.
Janina Linka.
Janina. What she did that weekend tilted that conference. Tilted it.
Bro. Powerful.
Do what she did. And be unafraid.
I bet that she was having a minor mental breakdown right before she took stage and be like, really? Is this what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put all my laundry out there? How bad could this go?
Whoa.
And yet, instant respect, because everybody saw her struggle and saw a piece of them in her story, because we've all been in similar shoes and different variations in life.
But think about this, folks. Her weakness became her strength at that moment.
Boom.
Her weakness became her strength. And yeah, you might be focused on the here and the now. Oh, I talked to one of my agents. He just told me, hey, I'm not living with my wife right now. What? I'm going through some stuff. Dude, call me anytime.
Good for you.
Are you engaged with your team? Do you know what they're going through? Or are they just a money source for you? Yeah. If they're a money source for you, you're in the wrong business.
You shouldn't be a leader. Exactly. And here's the other thing, right? So here's another problem within the industry. You're going to have to cut me off, dude, because we can go for days. It's just like, I'm all about this. But leadership is on the ladder to promotion. If you want to move up, make more money, whatever, like you have to become a leader. And, that's one thing that the tech industry does really well is all the way up to director. You can be an individual contributor. You can be a highly paid, high performing individual contributor because you're not a leader of people. It's okay not to want to lead. This series right now, Crossroads of Leadership, that I'm doing for Security Journal America, I'm literally walking the path that most leaders walk and looking in the rearview mirror and coming to the crossroads, the decision points that once you make that decision, it affects your leadership philosophy from there forward. And most people aren't thoughtfully making these decisions. And most people, if they thought about it, wouldn't want the responsibility and the heartache of being a leader. And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's exhausting being a leader.
It is. There's a lot of stress available to you when you become a leader that wasn't available to you when you weren't.
Because you become a Dr. Phil, you become a business owner, and you become somebody you didn't know you became.
And the funny thing is, I always used to remind my people of this is, somebody's going to make the joke like, all right, boss man, right? Or like, oh, you're the boss. And there's some truth in there, but being the boss is really just being the fall guy. Because if this all falls apart, it's because of me.
Wow.
And that also creates a little bit of humility. And, when you tell a team that like, hey, you know what, I might be the boss, but all that means is I'm the fall guy. And that's why I need you to be on your A game. I need you to understand. I need you to tell me when I'm wrong, when this idea is a bad idea, and bring other possibilities, right? Because we're in this together. But at the end of the day, if this thing falls apart miserably, it's on me. And that also helps the team rally around a leader that they want to follow.
So powerful. Yeah, I once heard a mentor of mine say, once you become a great teacher, the students will follow.
Sounds like a fortune cookie.
But it's true. It's just personal growth. I mean, the podcast, Tim and the kindness games with Lee over there, they create a following. They're not trying to create a following because they grab attention, but they're serving their audience needs of psychological mental health help.
Yep.
And with that comes collaboration. That's what the podcasts are about. Collaboration, partnerships, and building that trust, rapport. Because once you have trust, rapport, and friendship established, then all kinds of doors start flying open. And you just got to put yourself out there. Be willing to fail. It's okay. Apply ice if it hurts.
That's how you learn.
Yeah. But wow, we have talked a lot of great gold nuggets on this thing. And I didn't plug because, part of me not plugging is creating an organic conversation. Yeah. And I know that's what the audience wants to hear is organic conversation. They don't want to hear, a real pitch for some sponsorship, every 20, 30 minutes. It's just like, it cuts away from this valuable content. That's why I don't do sponsorships yet. I haven't in 3 years. I'm like, I don't want to ruin the quality of the conversations we have on the show. Wow. What a conversation. And you audience, this has been a treat for me as much as I'm sure it's been for Tim. And Tim, any parting word before we wrap this up, this hour and a half conversation?
You know what? Thanks for inviting me on, man. It was good to meet you finally, just like a couple of weeks ago on Zoom. I've been watching your stuff and I've been like, God, I want to meet that guy someday. So I appreciate the opportunity. If I left some parting words for anybody listening to this right now, I would just say it's okay not to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even better if you already know that you don't know. But if you know where to find out the information, if you know who to contact, who to bring on your team to make it work, then you can solve any problem. You can overcome any obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
And in the military and police, we learn that, but we forget it when there's a potential consequence of losing a job and spoiling a career.
Great gold nuggets. And something just hit me in the head when you were saying that. You're only a decision away from a major victory in your life.
Whoa.
Only one decision away from a huge victory, whatever that might be.
Yep.
You may be having a day of sorrow today, but that day of joy could be tomorrow or tonight. Just don't, because when something hits you today, give it 24 hours. You're going to have a different perspective in the morning.
That's awesome.
Dang, we could go on for another half hour on this one.
Totally good.
Holy crap. I'm on a roll. Jumping jacks and the endorphins just rolling right now. I did a 3-mile workout before the Mike Howard podcast, and I've been going ever since. So I don't know what's going on, but this is great synergy and chemistry and just great conversation, folks. And it's an honor to be part of it with Tim here. And thanks for following Tim. Follow his career there at Kroll and LinkedIn. And follow him at the Kindness Games with Lee over there. And Lee's doing some amazing things with his new. What's he doing now? I don't even know.
He's the chief customer officer with SPS.
Okay,
which is kind of like an international SOS type assistance company
nice.
Based out of Europe. Yep.
Cool. Okay. Wow. He's rocking and rolling. He just had a major surgery too with some stuff that he was dealing with. So I'm glad to see he's doing
better. He had a heart attack last year. Yeah.
Wow. How old is he?
45. And that's what stress in this industry will do to you.
Wow.
And he's a fitness fanatic too. He doesn't look like me.
He's lean.
He is.
Heart attack, 45. So gals, you got to take care of yourself. Mental health, physical health, work out, take care of yourself. Yeah. So true. And thanks for supporting the show, folks. We'll be dropping Mike Howard here soon, and this podcast will be splitting it up by 30-minute episodes. We don't want to overwhelm you with an hour and a half. I'm sure you guys would love it, but we're going to stretch this out through the summer. Some valuable content, and you can reach Tim on LinkedIn. You can find us on the Fearless Mindset on all the podcast platforms, and give us a 5-star rating, please. If you hate us, let us know on YouTube. That's fine. Let us know how bad we are. We can handle it. We're both military vets, so nothing we can't handle. All good. So thanks for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Fearless Mindset. And we'll see you then. Thanks for supporting the show. Bye.